Hello everyone, I'm Heather. I'm back for a video. I'm not going to say a quick video because I lie to you every time when I say that. Like, let's just be honest from the go. This video is because I've been on BookTube for a full year. Wow! What? And there's good news and bad news really in this. Good news is I stuck to something for a full year. Anyone who knows me knows, you know, as soon as something is no longer brand new, I lose a bit of heart in it. But I've kept going with it, you know, videos roughly, you know, once a week, twice a week, whatever, like staying in the community and doing it and like being fully in it for a full year. Hooray for me. Bad news is this is sort of the end of the project. I don't really know where to go from here. Like, all of my planning and all of my dedication and everything was just supposed to get me to this point, and now I'm here and I don't really know where to go. So I'll have to have like a think about, you know, what's going on with the BookTube situation from here on out. Like, should I give it up? Like, I don't want to give it up, you know. I love this community, I love BookTube, I feel like it's changed my life, but also, you know, it can be exhausting, you know. It's like hard to find time to do it, it's hard to think of content, like it's a bit, you know, like it's a really good outlet, blah blah, like you all know this, everyone who's on BookTube already knows this, the struggle. So maybe I'll do fewer videos or different videos. Like, also I have the weird problem of needing to keep things new or else I lose heart. So I don't want it to, like, you know, get really stale and be the same stuff all the time and then I just sort of lose the will to do it. Like, I definitely don't want it to die an evil death like that, like so many other hobbies I've had in my life. If you have any suggestions or ideas for me or anything, that would be really good. Like, if you've been in this situation before, or if you just have any sort of ideas or something, like, I definitely don't want this to be the end, you know, but I might sort of, I don't know, go about it a more chilled, sort of relaxed, take it or leave it sort of way, or I don't know, add different kinds of videos or something to sort of keep it new and like a new project or something. But anyway, today's video is in celebration of finally getting to the end, and also to like tuck it up nicely in bed this year of BookTube, and that is by fixing a bit of my anxiety regarding my current TBR situation. Like, I don't want to, you know, end out my first year on BookTube as just this messy, crazy, frayed ends, everything, all these books that I was going to read, all these books that are in the middle and blah blah blah. Like, I want to tuck it into bed. And I'm going to do that with the Intimidating TBR Pile book tag and accompanying projects. So the Intimidating TBR Pile book tag was created by Lindsay at Lindsay Ray. The actual video has been made private now, but I'll link her channel and also maybe one or two other people doing this tag that I've been watching recently. So I'm going to do the tag, which is sort of each question sort of identifies a book on your TBR that's sort of niggling you, you know, like you really want to get to it, you just haven't had time, and it's like, you know, it identifies what books are giving you the most anxiety. They're on your mind and you want to read them. So I'm going to first do the tag to identify those books, and then I'm going to read them. What? Okay. So I'm going to give myself like a bit of like a readathon, you know, like a set amount of time. And after I've finished those, I will have murdered a bunch of projects sort of ongoing with loose ends that are giving me anxiety. One of them being this bit of nerdiness, the Pop Sugar Reading Challenge for this year. I only have 6 books left, like the pink slips, the pink bits, are the bits that I haven't read yet, and the progress on this has slowed way down, mainly because the books that are left, you know, they're niggling me on my TBR. Also, my Borrow Box app is out of control. Like, my library app where I can borrow audiobooks, like, I just put the ones that I want on hold and they just give them to me when they're ready, and then they give me 20 days to read them. I've got 4 books in there at the minute and it's getting dangerously close to some of their dates. And the timeline for this project, I'm thinking, so this week, this last week of June or whatever, I'm going to do the vast majority of it. I'm going to push and push and try to get through more than half of them. But then I think I'm going to give myself until the end of July to sort of round it out for the rest of them. Like, I don't want to be too intense in the first bit of July because I also want to do a couple other readathons. Like, I want to do the homeschool readathon on Dora's channel. I'll put that one down below as well. I'm pretty excited about that one, it's cute. And also Reading Rush, obviously, in July. So I'm going to try to do the vast majority of this one in the last week of June, but I want to actually finish them, not just get as far as I can and stop. Like, I want to actually annihilate this. So I'm going to give myself till the end of July to sort it out. And I don't know, maybe some reading vlogs, maybe some stuff like that. And then at the end of July, I don't know, I'll have to have deep thoughts about where to go from here. Anyway, on with it. I'm already rambling. I've already been rambling for I don't even know how long, just a crazy amount of time. I haven't even started the tag. What's wrong with me? Okay, so the first question, or the first book on the list, is a book you haven't been able to finish yet. And I have several, but I'm not going to focus on all of them particularly. I'm only going to focus on like the problem children. One of the problem children is The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon or something. I'll put it up here. It is massive and I'm having a hard time getting into it. So I think what I'm going to do is just DNF that one for now. Not forever, just for now. You know, like I'm in it, like the house is on fire. I got to cull some stuff. So I'm going to put that one aside for now and come back to it at a later date, okay? The other two that I'm in the middle of currently, one is Rather Weird by Andrew Caldecott. I got this one in the post from Tina. Like, I'll link her channel down below because she's awesome as well. And she really liked it and she was like, oh, you should definitely read it. So she sent it to me and I'm actually really liking it. It's going pretty quick because I'm liking it, but it is a bit stalled now. Not for any problems with the book, but just because life is hard and I'm working on too many projects at the minute. So I need to nail this one. I need to get through it so I can tell Tina how amazing it was, because it is really good. It's basically this idea where in the 1500s, all these like really special children who are really smart or whatever were put aside on an island or whatever to start their own sort of independent town, like independent of sort of the rest of England. And like there's loads of secrets up with this place that they are, this rather weird place. Like it's some sort of portal to some sort of other like magical place, and like everyone that's in the town is restricted from knowing the history of the town. Like you're not allowed to study history of the town, you're not allowed to know anything about the backstory of the town or whatever. And I'm really liking it, it's really good. So finish that, that's the first go. The next one that I'm stuck on in the middle of, and not even in the middle of, I'm only on, oh my god, like I'm only here. It's a good book, but again, like I'm having a hard time getting through these at the minute. It's called Babel, Around the World in 20 Languages by Gaston Doran, and I really like stuff like this. Like I'm a bit of a super nerd when it comes to like geography and social studies and languages and stuff like that. Like I like to know loads of different facts about them, and I've been to loads of like 101 language classes, like Russian 101, German 101, like Chinese 101, Japanese 101. Like I like to go learn the very, very, very basics of like the alphabet and the language structure and everything, and then stop. Like anyway, this is basically what this is. It's like the top 20 languages of the world. Like if you spoke these 20 languages, you'd be able to communicate with 98% of the world or something like that. And it sort of gives facts about them, about language structure, language history, sort of the culture around the language, how the language is sort of protected and how it, you know, survives in these places where it's spoken. And it's really interesting. I'm just, you know, I just got issues with getting through stuff. So that's number one. Number two is a book you haven't had time to read yet, and this has been killing me recently. So my Aunt Joan told me about this book. It's The Hidden Life of Trees by Peter Wohlleben. Wohlleben? I don't know, it's German. But my aunt told me about this one. She said it was really good, and I was like, ooh, I really gotta get that. And then I gotta tell my Aunt Joan that I liked it or didn't like it or whatever. Like, gotta, you know, read it and have a chat. But then loads of other people have come and said, oh, you know, they've also read this book and liked it or hated it or whatever, and they keep asking me if I've read it. And they keep having to say, no, it's next on the list, and it really is. It's just next on the list with several other things that are also next on the list. So this one as well I need to get to so that I can tell people what I thought about it. Number three is a book you haven't read because it's a sequel, and I'm not quite sure what is intended by this question. exactly, like, is it that you can't read the second one because you haven't read the first one yet, so first you have to read the first one and then you can read the second one? Or is it that you liked the first one and you want to read the second or third one or whatever, and you've put it on your list, your TBR, you want to read it, but you've gone on to other things, you know, and you haven't had time to go back to it? So I'm taking it as the second meaning, and I have two of those particularly sitting heavy. One is A Sprinkle of Sorcery by Michelle Harrison. So I read the first one of this a bit ago, and it was really good, and I was like, oh, I definitely need to read like the second and third one. I think it's a trilogy, but I just haven't gotten to it yet. And now it's popped up as one of the audiobooks on my BorrowBox app, so I'm gonna audiobook that one. The premise of this one is, well, I don't even know what the second one's about really. The first one was this 3 girls, and they were living on this like prison island, or this sort of island with a prison on it, and they ran the local pub. And they have this curse on their family where they're not allowed to actually leave the island, but they were never really told that. They sort of lived their lives without really knowing that they can't leave the island, even though they've never left the island. And they have to sort of go back in time, solve the curse, sort of fix the curse so that they can continue on with their lives, you know, going forward. And there's also these 3 magical objects that sort of like help them to do things like see people really far away in like a mirror, or like transport them to other places physically or whatever. Anyway, I thought the first one was really good, and the second one I think is to do with like a new stranger or something. This new magical stranger shows up at their family pub, and now they've got to go and solve another sort of mystery on another magical island or whatever. So I'm excited. Also, another one that I'm going to put into this thing about the sequels, number 3, the bit about the sequels, and that is Demelza Poldark by Winston Graham. So if you've been watching my channel recently, I've probably talked about this quite a lot, mainly because I desperately want to read it, but just cannot find the time. So I read the first one of these, not really expecting anything. It was just sort of, I got them free at the book hut in like this like book swap phone booth thing near my kid's school. So I just like got them free and was like, why not? I'll read it. And it was like a sleeper hit. I really liked it. I didn't expect to. So now I really want to read this one, but I'm finding it hard to get to it. So I ordered it just thinking, oh, maybe I'll get it in time on my BorrowBox app, audiobook thing in the library. And it's come up now. So it's about to expire. So I've got to listen to it now or lose it. So I'm including that one in the thing. So number 4 on the list is a book you haven't read because it's brand new. For that one, I'm going to read Over the Top, Jonathan Van Ness, My Story. Anyone who doesn't know who Jonathan Van Ness is, like, let me school you in his awesomeness, okay? He's on Queer Eye on Netflix, so not like the old 90s show Queer Eye, the straight guy that I used to watch when I was a kid, but like the revamp on Netflix. Yeah, this whole team is amazing. Like I've read most of their things, like Tan France, I read his thing. Anthony did a cookbook. I'm not really into cookbooks, but I had to look at that one as well because you can't not do. And now I'm going to read the one by Jonathan Van Ness. This one is on my urgent list of TBR things I need to get through because it's a library book. What? Can you see? Can you see this from the library? Guys, the library is back. Oh my god, I can't even tell you how terrible it's been without a library for months. But it's back open now. Like, it's click and collect, mind. So like they sent out an announcement, like a very probably niche announcement that only really came to me, and I like got it straight away and immediately took action. But they sort of sent out an announcement saying, okay, so we're gonna do click and collect. So you put online, you put holds for books. When those books come in, we'll let you know and you can like make an appointment and come get them. So I immediately put like as many holds as I possibly could. And this one was the first one that came up. I'm so excited. Maybe I'll just start with that one. Like, I'm just excited. Okay, so number 5 is a book by an author you read but didn't really like. So for this one, I'm gonna do Have Sword Will Travel by Garth Nix and someone else. Wait, Sean Williams? This one is one of the ones that I ordered through my BorrowBox and it's come up. But I've been sort of sitting on it because Garth Nix as an author, I know loads of people love him and I feel like I should also love him. But I read Sabriel, one of his other ones, and I didn't really get on with it. I didn't really like it. It didn't really grip me like it grips so many other people. So I'm gonna give this one a go because it sounds really cute. Like it's a kid's book. It's like a middle grade book or whatever, and it's about these two kids who find a sword that talks, and it's like a little bit Sword in the Stone-y, you know. So the kid who has the sword is now like this king guy or something because he has the sword. Don't really know a lot about it, but it sounds really cute, and loads of people love Garth Nix, so I think it was probably just a one-off that I didn't quite get on with Sabrielle. I'm gonna give it another go. Okay, so number 6 is a book you're not in the mood to read, and this has been a bit of a problem for me, definitely. One of them that I need to listen to through my BorrowBox app, but I actually have the book for it anyway. Maybe I'll do like a little bit of listening, bit of reading. I like to do that. Is The Beekeeper of Aleppo by Christy Lefteri. So I've heard that this one is really good. And also I have a friend named Rahaf who's from Aleppo, and like whenever she's talked about it, it sounds like really cool and like sort of, I don't know, like a bit, you know, otherworldly, but also just like timeless beauty. Like she said when she went to Tenby in West Wales, like I don't know if you know about Tenby. Like if you're from the UK, you've probably at least heard of Tenby if you haven't exactly been there. But it's this tiny town on the edge of the UK, like pretty much as west as you can go in West Wales, and it's like a walled town. So it's like up on a hill, and it's got sort of the walls, and all of the houses are sort of built into the walls, and like looks out over on a beach, you know. It's gorgeous, and I love Tenby, and she said when she went to Tenby she felt really at home. It really reminded her of Aleppo. So anyway, I really want to get to this book. But the problem is that I think it's going to be really sad. Like loads of people have said it is really sad, and obviously it's about Aleppo, so you know it's going to be a bit sad. The idea I think with this one is that this family or these people or whatever, they live in Aleppo, and then everything goes a bit crap and they have to flee, and they have to go to England to meet family or to meet up with someone or something. And I imagine the book is about that journey to England, and it's obviously going to be really sad. And for like the last couple months in lockdown, I think I just wouldn't have been able to take it. But I think as we're sort of slowly emerging from lockdown, I think maybe I'm like recovered enough that I can take on another sad one. I need to, or else I'm going to lose it on the BorrowBox anyway, so get to it. The next one is She Said by Jodie Cantor and Megan Toohey or something. This book is somewhere in my house. Somewhere. I know this because I took a picture of it along with the other 2 library books that I got it together with, and I put it on Instagram. So I know that book is in this house. Also, I know that it's from the library and eventually needs to go back, so I need to find it. I need to read it. But it's another one that I've been sort of sitting on, like not really wanting to go forward and get into in like lockdown and like sad things, because the premise of the book is that it's the 2 journalists who sort of broke the Harvey Weinstein sexual sort of assault scandal thing. They sort of like opened the lid on that whole thing and everything went crazy from there. It's sort of basically the story of how they broke this story, and obviously it's going to be really sad and really intense, and I wasn't sure that I could sort of handle it before, but again, you know, as we're sort of coming out of lockdown, I think I'm ready. I'll just sort of brace myself going in, you know, like have like fortifications like beer and, you know, pizza to just go forward and get through it. So number 7 is a book you've put off reading because it's huge. And when I show you this book, I feel like you're gonna be like, that's not huge, like it's not even big, what's the problem? But like, just stay with me here, okay? Just stay with me. It is Susanna Kearsley's Bellwether. Loads of people have said this book is really good, and I read another one of hers called The Rose Garden, which was, I really liked that one. And this one I think is a similar sort of thing in that it's like a past story and a present story, and the people on the present sort of in the book work to sort of learn about this other past story. And it doesn't really look that big, but it's heavy as shit. I don't know if it's like the cover or like the density of the pages or something, but it's way heavier than your average book. Like, I would say, I know it doesn't seem like it, I would say that this book is heavier than this book. I can't even tell you why, like, because I'm really bad at science. Like, it's probably to do with, like, the density of things. Also, it is longer than the average book that I would read. It's 500 pages instead of, like, the 300 to 400 page range, like, as a usual book I'd read. But I think, for me, the most intimidating part of it, and, like, the main part that I haven't read it, is that when I pick it up, I go, ugh, maybe something else for today. But I really want to get to it, I really do. Loads of people have said it's really good. It's a love story as well, and Diana Gabaldon, who I love, who wrote Outlander, she has put a thing on it, so I know that publishers live to lie to me, and maybe they just, like, made her say this. But, you know, I feel like this is going to be really good. It's a love story in the past. A French-Canadian lieutenant falls in love with a daughter of the house that he is, like, a prisoner in. Also, it's very important in finishing my project because it will be a book with an upside down image on the cover. It's got an upside down tree on it. I just need to get to it. I need to stop flapping around. It's not that big. Okay, so number 8 is a book you got mainly because of the cover. So for this one, I'm going to do Sons of the Prophets, or There's No Business Like Grow Business, The Seattle Story, 1851 to 1901, by William C. Speedle. Now, try to control yourselves, guys. I can feel your excitement for this book from here. You need to calm down. Like, okay, I know it looks really boring and, like, really niche, and, like, no one will be particularly interested in this book, but I'm from Seattle and I love books like this just anywhere. So this is the kind of book, right? You're from Cleveland and you've come on a business trip to Seattle and you're in the Space Needle, you know, and you've gone up to the Space Needle and it was very fun, and you've come down and now you're in the bookshop and loads of books like this are there. The vast majority of people will look at those books and go, those look a bit shit and boring, and then move on to the t-shirts. I, however, lap these up. I love them. I am a huge fan of, like, bullshit, like, gift shop, like, local interest books. Anyway, I stole this book from my mother. She read it and she said it was really good, and now I'm just gonna carry on with that one. So it's got, like, loads of cool stuff. Like, I'm just gonna keep talking about it because it's awesome. But, like, look at this, okay? This is Seattle at its beginnings. Like, I don't know if you know what Seattle's like now, okay, but it is a massive metropolis. Like, Seattle and Tacoma, the two cities, basically merge with each other because there's no non-city bits between them. Like, it's just a massive sprawling metropolis. But here it was, baby Seattle, in just like a little wilderness Seattle. And only, you know, not that long ago, you know, sort of mid-19th century, really. That's amazing. Okay, so last one, number 9, is the book you find most intimidating. And for this one, I'm going to say Recursion by Blake Crouch. And the reason I find it most intimidating is because it's about a pandemic. Like, I know these sort of books on my TBR about, like, plagues and pandemics and, like, you know, diseases that rip through populations and stuff, and, like, dystopias and blah blah. And now that we've had our own pandemic in real life, like, I can't cope with them. Like, I can't I can't bring myself to read them. But I do think this one will be good. And it's not a pandemic in, you know, the sense of, like, a sort of real sort of physical pandemic. It's like a sort of fantasy sci-fi pandemic. It's like it's a disease that drives people mad by giving them memories they've never had, you know, which is clearly like a fantasy sort of thing. Like, it would never really happen in real life, you know. So I'm hoping that that sort of element will remove it from my actual life enough that I can read it, because it does meet one of my prompts on here, which is a medical thriller. So I think probably if people came up with this Pop Sugar list before our own pandemic, or else they would not have put a medical thriller as one of the prompts, like, for mental health. But it's okay, we can't see into the future. It's fine, it's fine. I'll read it, I'm sure I'll love it, and then upon completion, I will have finished my Pop Sugar reading challenge. I will have finished this particular challenge. I will have finished all of my audiobooks that are pending, all of the books that are on my list that I want to read, and I will have rounded out the end of my booktube year beautifully. So it'll all be worth it in the end. Okay, that's it. That's the project. Vast majority of it I'll do this week, and I'll maybe do a reading vlog or whatever to sort of do some progress, and then finish it up some point in July, intermixed with all the sort of readathons that I'm going to do in July, and let you know. If you know anything about these books, or you like them or you didn't like them, please let me know. Any thoughts you have. Also, any thoughts you have about the sort of future of my channel. If you know, have certain things that you want to see, or, you know, suggestions if you've been in my particular situation before, just let me know. I am desperate for advice. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye, bye, bye.